In this era, the magic crest you are born with is fixed for life, and it quietly decides everything you will ever become. The first 3 crests are prized, but the 4th is scorned across the land as the crest of failure. The boy who bears that failure holds a secret. He is the reincarnation of Gaius, the greatest sage who ever lived. He chose to be reborn as Matthias to master a form of magic his old body never could. On the road to the royal capital, he senses a calamity-grade monster bearing down on his wagon. Before the terrified merchant can even react, Matthias destroys it with a single silent spell. He reaches the capital determined to enroll in a combat academy and reclaim the strength he lost. There he meets Alma, whose magic sword shattered while she was protecting a friend. Every blacksmith tells her that reforging it before tomorrow's entrance exam is impossible. Matthias offers to enchant the blade himself, and the doubtful smith lets him try. In moments, with no incantation at all, he restores the sword sharper than it ever was. The craftsmen are stunned that a boy branded with the crest of failure could do the impossible. Grateful and amazed, Alma tells him to just call her by name, and a friendship begins. He also meets the shy, easily flustered Luri, who will soon join his circle. The next day the practical exams begin, and Luri wins her duel with the sword Matthias enchanted. When his own turn comes, a grown swordsman steps in to test him in person. Matthias parries the man's strongest blow with ease, and the stranger surrenders on the spot. The man reveals himself as Guile, captain of the Knight's Order, astonished by the boy's skill. In the casting exam, the elite students recite slow, spoken incantations to strike their targets. Matthias asks to cast his own way, and a wordless spell obliterates every target and tears up the grounds. Headmaster Edward, watching closely, realizes this is no ordinary student. He calls Matthias to his office and reveals that wordless casting is a lost art almost no one can still use. He asks Matthias to revive it at the Second Academy and prove its power against the elite First Academy. Matthias agrees, and before the whole class he demonstrates casting without a single word. One by one, he teaches his classmates the forgotten art until every student can use it. On the day of the Grand Inter-Academy competition, he senses an enemy with nearly 10 times his magic power. That is demon-level strength, and it belongs to First Academy's celebrated Chosen One, Devilis. As Devilis mocks the crest of failure, Matthias uncovers the truth. His rival is a demon in disguise. Demons infiltrated the academies long ago, buried wordless casting, and branded the 4th crest of failure to keep humanity weak. While Devilis only pretends to chant, Matthias shatters his spells and strikes him down in under a second, completely alone. As the crowd reels, he remembers his life as the sage Gaius and realizes that in this era, far greater dangers are only beginning. For exposing the demon, Matthias is summoned before the king and hailed as the hero of the hour. He refuses the offer of land, explaining that he was reborn only to grow stronger. Instead, he asks for the rights to every resource in the kingdom's dungeons. The king, who prizes dungeons above almost anything, grants him free reign. Then the king shares grim news. The kingdom's magical chosen ones, including the mage Captain Erhardt, have vanished. Matthias deduces that demons have infiltrated humanity for centuries, spreading false magic to keep people weak. He warns that, with their cover blown, the demons will abandon the masquerade and strike openly. He predicts a full demon assault on the kingdom within roughly 3 months. His answer is audacious: to raise a permanent barrier vast enough to cover the entire capital. The king names him leader of the war against the demons and promises him anything he needs. Among the royal relics, Matthias finds a sword he forged in his past life, tougher than orichalcum and perfect as the barrier's core. Back at the academy, the students slowly begin to grasp wordless casting. Matthias invites Alma and Luri to form his personal dungeon party. Alma admits she is far better with a bow than a blade, though bows are dismissed for magic combat. He fires a magic-infused arrow to prove that her crest of standard is ideal for magical archery. Won over, Alma joins, and the fascinated Luri signs on to master enchanting. The party descends into the dungeon beneath the academy. Matthias has Alma trained by piercing a live monster's shell with a single magic arrow. He teaches her a thread-guided enchant that curves her arrows in flight to hit a second target. He shows Luri how to shatter dungeon ore and refine it into mithril for their weapons. After weeks of training, Luri enchants wall-breaking swords and Alma's arrows split 3 ways. To test how far they have come, they push toward the dungeon's 10th floor. There, Alma and Luri together cut down a pack of deadly killer hounds. Matthias sets up a Magistone-powered camp, then heads for the lower floors alone. He lures out the floor boss, the colossal arc serpent, whose venom corrodes the very ground. Triple casting 3 spells at once, he overwhelms it and slays it with a single devastating strike. He returns early with a haul so vast it will help build the Great Barrier. At the Trade Guild, a clerk scoffs that a Crest of Failure boy could be anything more than a porter. Then Matthias reveals a storage spell and produces a Magistone large enough to be a national treasure. It sells for 750 gold, a fortune he splits evenly with Alma and Luri. Suddenly, he senses danger. 2 demons are closing in on the second academy. He splits the party, sending Alma and Luri to stall the weaker demon while he takes the stronger. He appears before the winged Lord Ashral in an instant, catching the demon off guard. Ashral hurls a massive spell, but Matthias cancels it by striking the weak point of its casting circle. In a sword duel, he completely outclasses the demon. When Ashral tries to flee, Matthias seizes control of his magic and turns the demon's own spell against him. He traps the demon's flight magic, so it rages out of control inside him. Then he seals the life-sacrifice spell that would summon a horde and destroys Ashral for good. Across the field, Alma and Luri keep the weaker demon at bay with disruption arrows. Matthias arrives, baits it with a bluff, and the trio finishes it together. As a crowd gathers, the king himself appears to congratulate them. Matthias asks for as many dungeons as the king can grant, already planning to leave the academy. Suddenly, he senses a hidden watcher and lashes out through an unseen interface. He reveals it is Erhardt, the former mage captain, now turned demon, spying from far away. The demons have been watching through a long-range surveillance spell and have heard every plan. Matthias pinpoints their hideout, a ruined village thousands of kilometers to the northwest. But the Crest of Failure cannot teleport that far, so he needs another way to reach it. He leads the party to what looks like a carriage, but is really Iris, the legendary dragon of darkness. Not recognizing him, Iris warns them off and unleashes her dragon's breath. Matthias disrupts the blast at its weak point, then speaks to her in the language of dragons. Iris realizes he is the reincarnation of Gaius and bows low, begging his forgiveness. She explains that after Gaius died, exploding magic reactors dragged humanity back to a primitive age. Her wings were torn in that catastrophe, leaving her grounded for 5,000 years. Matthias heals her wings with his crest until she can fly once more. Together they take to the sky toward the demon's lair, on Iris's first flight in millennia. As they near the enemy, Iris senses 2 demons ahead, one weak and the other stronger than any they have faced. They reach a fog-shrouded village, abandoned and clearly rigged as a trap. Matthias sets up a telepathy spell and names Alma and Luri his main attackers. The enemy hides behind a concealment spell, but he spots the gaps it leaves behind. He casts a disruption that rips the concealment away and exposes the demon Elhart. Alma's arrow strikes home, and Elhart is shocked that his perfect disguise has failed. Convinced this Matthias must be an imposter, Elhart rages and orders them buried. Matthias presses a head-on attack, while the girls rain arrows from above. Mid-battle, Elhart's body suddenly stiffens and his movements begin to fail. Matthias reveals his seal was magitoxin, a poison that builds in a demon until it strikes all at once. In desperation, Elhart casts Atrocify, sacrificing his own life for a surge of raw power. Even then, the demon is cut down in an instant and finished for good. Matthias sends the girls to wait in the sky, declaring the second demon his alone. He shatters a Magistone to trigger a magic catastrophe and force the hidden mist demon to take form. The mist demon emerges, warning that it will not fall as easily as Elhart. It tears into Matthias and seemingly rips off his arm. But he had precast a restore spell on that arm and an analysis spell to study the demon's every power. The demon overclocks its magic for a devastating attack, only for Matthias to nullify it completely. It unleashes a mist that turns anything it touches to vapor, a certain death. Matthias counters it exactly, having predicted the attack from his analysis. His real spell was stripping the demon's control, forcing it to swell with magic until it bursts apart. The mist demon explodes, and the battle is won. In the ruins they find a Dracopulse pillar, a device that manipulates the land's hidden streams of magic. Its seals were primed to summon roughly 5,000 monsters, led by bosses, straight at the royal capital. The earlier explosion shifted the summoning point away from the city, buying them precious time. To stay at Matthias's side, Iris uses a spell to take on a human form. He presents the slain demon's horns as trophies and asks the headmaster to admit her. In the practical exam, Iris stops Captain Giles' sword barehanded and shatters it with a single swing. Casting Matthias's way, she fires a spell that blasts a crater across the entire courtyard. The examiners call her a Calamity-class Dark Dragon, and she passes, promising to repair the wreckage. The barrier project stalls, because there are too few Crest of Glory users to refine the ore it needs. Most of them attend the rival First Academy, which has always looked down on the second. Its headmaster Facus storms in, calls the Second Academy inferior, and refuses to help. Matthias proposes settling it with a rematch competition, where the loser must obey the winner. Arrogant to the last, Facus accepts, but bars Matthias's party and Iris from taking part. On the day, First Academy fields its finest students, certain of victory. The Second Academy sends only 5 casters, written off before the matches even begin. The instant they start, those 5 end every duel in moments with wordless casting. Refusing to accept defeat, Facus demands proof and claims the 5 must be monsters. So Matthias has Iris fight, and she wins with overwhelming ease. Still defiant, Facus openly disobeys the king's command to adopt wordless casting. At that very moment the king himself appears, and Facus panics. The king has him arrested as a traitor and orders First Academy to learn the wordless art. With that settled, the barrier can be completed and wordless casting will spread across the kingdom. Next, the party needs a 60-centimeter Magistone to serve as the barrier's core. Their plan is to descend into the dungeon and summon a powerful monster to harvest one. On the 17th floor, the trip doubles as Iris's test to officially join the party. Luri forms a casting circle, and Iris floods it with far too much magic. The botched summon drags down a dragon monster far above the floor's normal level. It is a true dragon, exactly the kind that will yield the Magistone they need. Iris takes the lead, turning the dragon's own breath back against it. The monster falls, and the party claims its enormous Magistone. With the trial passed, Iris formally joins the team. Luri forges new weapons layered with enchantment upon enchantment for the battle to come. At last, the great operation to shield the entire capital with a barrier begins. Because Matthias will be consumed managing it, his wordless casters must defend the city themselves. Detectors pick up a demon arriving by Majorode, a demonic transport spell. With his hands full, Matthias tells Alma and Luri to handle the demon on their own. Luri devises her own casting circles to enchant Alma's special metal arrows. When the first demon emerges, Alma shoots it down at once. A second demon follows, and the 2 girls bring it down together. They have pulled off their first solo dispatch, and the onlookers are amazed. But a far greater surge erupts, and a powerful demon named Belias descends on the academy. Matthias's defense spell shields the students from a blow that would have killed them. This demon is tougher than any before, so Luri races to finish a complex enchantment. Alma holds the line while Luri fights through her own doubts and completes the spell. She hands the finished arrow to Alma, who lands the shot and brings Belias down. The students cheer at having beaten a demon entirely by themselves. Then an even stronger demon strikes them down, and a vast horde pours in, gloating over the slaughter to come. Alma and Luri steel themselves to buy time until Matthias can arrive. He descends and tells the demons that they are the ones about to be slaughtered. In a single stroke, Matthias annihilates the entire horde. He credits the sword Luri forged and thanks Alma for holding the line. The barrier is ready, and as the Magistone is set, it ignites and seals the capital beneath a dome of light. But the danger is not over. A monster horde is surging up through the dragon vein. The Academy's students and traps tear through the first wave. When a bigger wave comes, the party takes the front line. A void eater appears, devouring other monsters to grow ever larger. Matthias deliberately lets it feed and swell, so its remains can later be harvested. Luri carves a pattern into a magistone to steer the creature's monstrous evolution. When the Void Eater reaches its full size, the whole party attacks. Its legs regenerate endlessly, so Matthias stacks enhancement spells that last until the enemy dies. With one final blow, he destroys the Void Eater, and the capital is saved. The monster hints at something dangerous stirring deep within the dragon veins. Matthias decides to leave the academy to survey those dragon veins and the dungeons beyond. Rather than expel him, the headmaster keeps him on with a special scholarship extended to his whole party. Alma, Luri, and Iris all choose to go with him. Having saved the capital from the demons, Matthias and his party set out on a new journey to uncover the source of the world's chaos, the dragon veins. Their destination is the Melkia dungeon, a colossal labyrinth of hundreds of floors built beneath a dedicated dungeon city. Such cities, raised directly over a dungeon, are something that never existed in Matthias's past life. To save days of travel, he leads the party on a shortcut through the forest of Chikarasubiya, a notorious monster den. Iris offers to simply fly them over the danger, but her wings, torn long ago, are still healing. Deep inside the forest, Matthias senses countless monsters moving in unnatural order, all directed by a single hidden mind. He swiftly captures the culprit, a rare and cunning wisdom monkey, and the controlled swarm collapses at once. The party reaches the dungeon city of Melkia by nightfall, only to find it bleak, decaying, and nearly deserted. Its magic lampposts are crudely wired straight into the dragon vein, and they explode without warning, killing townsfolk. Luri notes that each lamp draws its power raw from the vein, with no magistone to stabilize it. The city's new lord has banned the use of magistones, Melkia's most precious export, forcing these lethal makeshift taps. He has also driven out every healer and herded the adventurers down into the dungeon, leaving the people defenseless. Even the weapons left for sale are shoddy and cheap, another sign of how far the city has rotted. At the guild, the party learns that even a dungeon permit comes at a cruel price, the Lord's deadly monthly demands. Before they can act, a sudden monster attack floods the guild with the wounded, and not one healer remains to treat them. Matthias steps forward, reading each victim's fading life force to tree off them by how close they are to death. When a man sneers at his crest of failure, he answers with flawless surgery, sealing ruptured organs and wounds in seconds. Then he directs the entire staff in coordinated healing, and every last patient is pulled back from the brink. Word soon spreads through the city of the boy who saved the dying when no one else could. Digging deeper, he learns the capable former lord died abruptly in his sleep and was replaced overnight by this cruel successor. Matthias grasps the truth. Demons are quietly reshaping this region, and the new lord himself may be one of them. To warn the king without alerting his enemies, he hides a real letter inside a decoy and slips it past the lord's inspectors. The next day, the party smashes through the dungeon's flimsy iron gate to measure the threat lurking within. The three girls track down and crush a powerful monster entirely on their own, returning with nothing but its severed head. Reviewing the report, the lord dismisses Matthias as a mere healer while branding the girls as dangerous beasts. Intrigued by the party that felled his monster, the corrupt lord is finally goaded into making his move. And Matthias, feeling the trap tighten around them, resolves to drag the lord's true face into the light. That night the lord's thugs tail the party and seize a hostage, demanding they kneel and serve him or die. Fooled by his gentle face, they never suspect the boy is the one they should fear. Matthias has Iris deal with them barehanded, and she flattens the entire gang in moments. He casts a demon-detecting spell over the unconscious thugs, now certain a demon is behind it all. The next morning, the king's proxy AK emerges from hiding with royal orders to arrest Lord Dokio Melkia. The party may take the lord into custody, Yaoi explains, acting under his own supervision. Luri's tracking spell pinpoints the lord at a heavily guarded estate on the edge of town. The party storms the front gate. Luri's barrier turns aside every attack, and Iris scatters the guards with a single strike. They corner the Lord as he flees through a hidden basement passage and place him under arrest. He scoffs at being seized on a child's word, until Matthias drops him where he stands. Among his belongings they find a letter laced with faint magic, proof that a demon has been guiding his cruelty. Then the ground heaves. The demons are tampering with Melchia's dragon vein, far mightier than the capital's own. If they finish their spell, it could unleash a calamity across the entire world. The tampering spawns a vast monster horde, and it will reach the city in barely 2 hours. Iris digs straight down, and the party breaks through into the dragon vein itself. Matthias splits them up. Luri will carefully restore the vein while Alma and Iris hold the line around her. He goes alone after the demon manipulating it, linking the whole party with a communication spell. The demon shields itself with an exploding barrier, its every tactic designed to counter a crest of failure. But Matthias shatters it by striking in the split second after each blast, weaving 4 or 5 spells at once. He has Luri ready 2 precise casting circles, one to nullify the demon's trap, the other to jam their signals. When the demon plays its last, desperate card, he slips through the attack and cuts it down. Luri restores the vein's flow, and across the dungeon the entire horde simply melts away. A hidden boss demon then taunts Matthias through the tapped line from a distant town before severing the connection. For the first time in this era, Matthias senses a true enemy worth facing, and the hunt for the mastermind begins. To track him down, Matthias relies on an ancient tracing device he secretly built in his own past life. It lies in the neighboring Rodinia alliance, so the party returns home to win the king's help crossing the border. They arrive to find the second academy torn down, now being rebuilt as a fortress ringed by an anti-demon barrier. First Academy's students even raise the new walls as casting practice, and the party lends a hand. Until the new building is ready, classes will be held at the rival First Academy. The king grants them a border permit, and for the first time the party leaves the kingdom of EIS. To reach the restricted region they seek, they must first earn the rank of A-class adventurers. So Matthias takes the guild's ascension test, a mock battle against a single proctor. The proctor is Giliuas, an S-rank battle maniac who has never once tasted defeat. He passes the 3 girls at a glance, then demands a one-on-one duel with Matthias. Giliuas uses no spells at all, yet instinctively reinforces his body with magic in the heat of battle. The two trade blow for blow, the warrior's power swelling as his instincts sharpen. He even copies Matthias's own fighting style after seeing it just once. But Matthias proves his casting is simply on another level and brings the unbeaten warrior down. It is Giliuas's very first loss, and Matthias hands him a textbook to learn true spellcasting. He tells the warrior that conscious spellcasting could one day make him stronger than Matthias himself. Humbled, Giliuas vows to train hard and grow stronger before they ever meet again. The party then sets out for the Aetolus Plains in the distant Phocia region. Giliuas warns that travelers have been vanishing there, and its checkpoints have grown strangely strict. At the border, Matthias detects a hidden magical code buried in their travel passes. It marks them for immediate elimination, written in a technology that only demons possess. Phocia, he realizes, has already fallen completely under demon control. When hired thugs ambush them on the road, he chooses to put them to sleep rather than spill blood. Within Phocia, Matthias senses more than 30 demonic presences, carefully concealed throughout the city. They are demi-demons, a rare breed that shares one consciousness and fights as a single coordinated team. The townspeople shuffle about in a daze, trapped beneath a stupefaction spell called thought paralysis. Slipping in through the sewers, the party knocks out a lone lookout and steals past the rest unseen. Matthias lifts the paralysis from himself and the girls, and they walk on playing the part of the dazed. At the city's heart, they find a massive factory refining ore into crystals built for explosives. A single ton of the purest crystals, Matthias warns, could wipe an entire kingdom off the map. The technology behind it is far too advanced for ordinary demons to have devised alone. He decides the factory cannot be left standing and resolves to destroy every demon in Phocia. To defeat a team, he turns their shared mind against them. Because the demi-demons share everything they see, A single lie spreads instantly through them all. He unmasks Iris's enormous magic power as bait, luring the demons to one edge of the city. Iris grumbles that she is always the one made into the decoy. As they swarm the decoy, Luri and Alma detonate rigged magistones, sowing confusion through their ranks. Convinced the whole town is booby-trapped, the demons freeze in place, and Matthias picks them off one by one. Luri and Alma cloak their magic and vanish among the dazed townsfolk, striking from the shadows. "You are not the only ones who can work as a team," Matthias tells them, as their numbers crumble. The survivors regroup for a last stand, and their leader moves to detonate the crystals and level the city. But Jiliuas suddenly appears, carving into the demons from behind. He has been studying Matthias's textbook, and his reinforced blows are sharper than ever. Jiliuas claims the demon leader as his own opponent, and Matthias steps aside to let him fight. Battered yet relentless, the warrior unleashes a double-edged technique that wounds even his own body. He turns aside the leader's ultimate strike and cuts him down, winning the duel before collapsing in exhaustion. As the party tends its wounds, a slain demon's corpse twitches back to life with a chilling message. Its master, it warns, will soon break his ancient seal and return at full strength. With Fokia freed, Jiliuas invokes an emergency law to take charge of the leaderless city before leaving to resume his training. The party presses on to a set of ancient ruins that Matthias himself raised thousands of years ago. The ruins are sealed by materials so tough that not even Iris can break in. Only Matthias's magic opens the way. Among the ruins, the girls turn up forgotten relics and weapons from that ancient age. Deep inside, he powers up his tracing device and reads the signature behind the demon's technology. It confirms a single mastermind has pulled every string, bent on the destruction of all humanity. At last Matthias names their enemy, Zardius, a demon so terrible the ancients could only seal him, never destroy him. At their current strength, he admits plainly, they cannot hope to win. Refusing to train for centuries while humanity is slaughtered, he chooses a faster, far riskier path. He will reclaim one of his own legendary weapons from his past life, a magic sword. The blade rests in the royal treasury of the kingdom of Eis, so he sends Luri and Alma to fetch it. He gives them Magistones keyed to react to the sword and to carry them through the capital's great barrier. But Zardius shatters his seal, and his monstrous presence comes racing toward the capital. Matthias's attempt to seal the demon's transport space fails, and he braces to face him head-on. Iris hurls her full dragon's breath, yet Zardius shrugs the blast off without a scratch. High above the city, citizens panic at the sight of a dragon circling their skies. Face to face at last, the demon proclaims the opening act of humanity's destruction. Zardius is not only overwhelmingly powerful, but faster than any foe Matthias has ever fought. Luri and Alma reach the treasury, and the king himself commands it opened so they can claim the sword. But Matthias is being overwhelmed, his magic bleeding away with every blow he is forced to block. Driven to the very brink, he resolves that to win this battle, he may have to lay down his life. With the magic sword finally in hand, Luri and Alma race back toward the desperate fight. Zardius mocks Matthias for stalling and tears relentlessly at his failing barrier. Demons he has resurrected from old corpses ambush the girls inside the shield and seize them as hostages. The demon demands Matthias surrender, threatening to kill his captured friends. Drained and surrounded, Matthias even considers escaping to a future era through his reincarnation spell. But his friends cry out that they believe in him, and he casts every thought of retreat aside. The headmaster charges in with the second academy students and frees the hostages. Luri and Alma shatter the enemy's spells with the very technique Matthias once taught them. Burning his own life force into raw magic, Matthias clings on by a thread. Iris sweeps him in close and presses the magic sword into his hands as he strikes. Then Zardius runs him clean through the heart, and the strongest sage falls. But his death is the one thing the sword has been waiting for. Forged in his past life, the blade revives its fallen wielder and floods him with staggering power. Matthias rises again, faster and mightier than ever, his shattered body held together by magic alone. He names himself Matthias Hildesheimer, the strongest sage with the weakest crest, and overwhelms the demon. With one final strike, he cuts the chaos demon Zardias down for good. With his last breath, Zardias warns that he is only one of many, and the next will be worse. Across the city, the academy students bring down the demon menacing the barrier, and not a single life is lost. Spent at last, the legendary sword falls silent, its one revival used up forever. His friends rush to his side, frantic over his wounds, as the long battle finally ends. His friends rush to his side, frantic over his wounds, even as the long battle finally ends. At the palace, the grateful king thanks them, knowing that without the treasury's blade Zardias could never have fallen. He offers Matthias a noble title and lands of his own. He declines, choosing to remain a free adventurer, and is given the sword along with his pick of the treasury. There he discovers an arrow from his past life and sets off in search of its matching bow. The trail leads to a great trading company, but the bow has long since been melted down into scrap. Quietly, he has a jewel reshaped into a pendant and gives it to a delighted Luri. Then word arrives that 300 puppets, powered by stolen human life, have struck the border of the Sihil Empire. Matthias realizes yet another demon now rules that empire, endangering countless lives. When his kingdom asks for his aid, he accepts without a moment's hesitation.